Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Thursday, October 9th. It is 6:20 right now. We got market opening up in about 10 minutes. So we got a position here that's currently running. It's the 6 a.m. position that we typically like to take. Obviously, I didn't take this trade for today because of the historical data. So the trade that's running right here, it had a 77.78% win ratio. But for Thursdays, it had a one out of the three Thursdays, which won. So it didn't really have really good historical data with regard to, win rate on Thursdays. So I decided not to take it. And then we had some high impact news on, at 5:30 pre-market. It wasn't, I don't even think the news came out today. So this was the news that was listed. Um, But I looked at the price movement at 5:30, it didn't really move at all. So I don't even think this came out. So I'm gonna go ahead and, probably just refresh this real quick and I'll see if the news came out. Yeah, no, so it looks like today the news didn't come out, but Powell spoke at 5:30. So a lot of the news events that typically come out or that are scheduled, they're either being canceled, delayed, or postponed. So we just haven't had any news because of the government shutdown. But those are the reasons why I decided not to take the trade here at 6 o'clock. We typically do take this one, but for those specific reasons, I skipped this one here. There just wasn't very too many entries that came up on the algo. And good news for you guys that do have access to the indicators and the tools. The algo is now active, so the algo is right here under my. You'll find it later. I haven't provided access to it yet, but you guys can see here it's now published on TradingView, so you guys will be able to pull it up probably by the end of today. I haven't given access to anyone yet, so you can see nobody has access to it yet, but you guys do and will have access to it later today once I'm able to get that going. There's just a lot of usernames. I have to do it one by one, so it's a little bit of a hassle. So you guys will see it as we uh as we get closer to that point. Anyways, guys, markets gonna open up shortly in about 7 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and mark up liquidity real quick. Let's take a look at the overall direction right now first. So overall direction right now, if you look over here on the lower time frames, it's more on the neutral side. So the 1 minute over here is currently it is currently, I would say neutral. It looks bullish right now, but it's more so neutral. Price is above the pivots. The trend meter is green. Pivots are slightly angling up, but price is coming back down. Looking over here on the 5 minute, price is in between the pivots. The trend meter is red. Pivots are kind of angling to the downward sideways. Same with the 15 over here. So the 1 minute is bullish, 5 minute is bearish, 15 minute is bearish. So this is more of a neutral overall trend with regard to the lower time frames. Looking over here on the higher time frames, the 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. So the 30 minute is bearish, 1 hour is bearish, and the 4 hour here is bullish. So, you look across the board here, everything here looks pretty mixed. So we don't really have an overall direction with regard to overall trend. It's pretty mixed overall. Looking over here at market structure, so the 1 minute is currently bullish, 5 minutes currently bullish, 15 minute is neutral, 30 minutes bullish, 1 hour is neutral, and the 4 hour is neutral right here. One thing that I noticed with the algo is that it's not really good to take the trades when the market's kind of dead or like there's not really much volatility. So I'm probably going to stop taking the pre-market trades and I'm probably just going to focus on the trades between um like basically between 6 and 8 around those times. Because you can see over here this thing's been pretty much choppy throughout the morning. There weren't really very many entries that came up. I didn't see anything that I liked. I mean, if you guys look at the list, there was just I just had so many trades here that just didn't meet up with my criteria. So here's my list of trades. There's a couple here, like at 5 o'clock. I just didn't really like them as much because there's just been a shift. There's been a shift in momentum. That's kind of what's been going on. There's a shift in momentum, and I feel like with the government shutdown, the momentum just isn't really consistent, especially pre-market because there's always news that's scheduled, but it just never comes out because of the government shutdown. So I didn't take anything today so far. Again, this trade is still technically running. the our usual 6 a.m. trade. I'm not in it, but market's gonna open in about 5 minutes. So if you were looking to take this, this would be something that I'd probably be looking to get out of because we're getting pretty close to market open here. But anyways, we just went over the market structure. It's pretty much bullish, neutral, and then the overall trend is mixed, like very mixed. So let me go ahead and mark up the structure over here. But yeah, for the most part, it looks like majority of you guys are here already on the Zoom. Since you guys are here on the Zoom, like we discussed earlier, guys, the algo is active on TradingView. So I just need to enable access, and I'm probably gonna get that access enabled by later today. Um, I wanted to make this announcement a little later, but we will be having a Zoom later at in the afternoon today, probably around 2 or 3. I haven't really set. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I have everyone with access to the algo before I have the Zoom, so that you guys can actually use it and play around with it while we have the Zoom meeting. So um, yeah, the Zoom meeting today is going to be around 2 to 3, probably around 2. I'm gonna try to have it as early as possible because I don't want to drag it out too far. So it's probably gonna be around 2 o'clock. And if anything, if we get on the Zoom and I haven't enabled access for everyone yet, we'll just do it while we're on the Zoom because I don't want to drag it out too far. I want you guys to have enough time to kind of play around with it and look up entries yourself if you want to before the next day. Hey, Chris, morning. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. It is 6:27 right now. It is Thursday, October 9th. We got market opening up in about 3 minutes. I'm marking up liquidity over here as we speak. If you guys are just joining in, I haven't taken any entries for today. I did mark up the algo entries last night. I put notes on them. None of the entries pre-market really looked good. They didn't have a good historical hit rate for the specific entries that we typically like to take. And then we're getting we had some news scheduled today, but the news didn't come out because of the government shutdown. So yeah, hey Brandon, morning, morning Justin, morning Sam, morning Camel. Yeah, Camel said is Powell even speaking? I don't know, honestly, he probably isn't. I'm not sure how long this government shutdown is going to last for. It feels like this is the longest government shutdown we've kind of been through. The last time the government shutdown happened, it was like during COVID, I think, and or a little bit after COVID, and it didn't last very long. Or it went on for a while, but there wasn't like the shutdowns weren't really happening. There was an actual shutdown. But this time around, it seems like it's like a legitimate shutdown. I've never seen where these big news events are being canceled and they're being postponed or delayed. And I've been training for a long time. It's kind of crazy to see that there's no NFP this month and stuff like that. So if you guys are looking at the entries, guys, the entry from so this one didn't play out at 7:05:07. This one at 6 o'clock, our normal entry for that we usually take is still running. Not in the position, but it's still running. So I'm just following it here. The next position that I'm actually looking for is not until 7:51. So we have some time here. So the 7:51 entry over here, the algo that I ran last night, it pretty much has a setup here at 7:51. It has a 66.67% win ratio of probability with a 20/40 TP risk reward. It also extends out to like 50, 60, and then obviously down here to 40. So this one over here pretty much won every Thursday. So the historical data looks good. So like I said earlier, guys, if you wanted to take the pre-market move, you would have had to pull out before 6:30. You would like while you were in profit. But this is a reason why I decided to skip this trade. If you look over here at my notes, we usually take the 6 o'clock entry. But from the historical data, it showed that it only won one out of the 3 Thursdays. So I look back at the historical data over here. Last Thursday was October 1st, I believe, or October 2nd. So looking at this right here, it hit on October 2nd, and then The Thursday before that was September 25th. It lost on September 25th. And then the Thursday before that, it was on September 18th. So it lost on September 18th. So although the strategy is good, the 6 o'clock entry, it typically has a 73.68% win ratio with probability of winning. It just doesn't work well on Thursday. So obviously today is Thursday, so I decided to skip it. And it's a good thing I skipped it because it would have lost, right? It was in profit for a while. So let me just show you guys real quick. It was in profit for a while, and you can see here it just got manipulated at 6:30. So the trade here obviously worked. It's just right here, it got stopped out at 6:30. That's why I typically don't like to take trades pre-market, or if I do take a trade pre-market, I usually close out before market opens up. Direction for the momentum breakout. Sorry guys, I totally forgot to look at that. So the direction for the momentum breakout for the day, it was a buy, and it is currently running right now. So this is the entry for the momentum breakout for those of you who are looking to take it. Some of you guys like to take the 50-50. The 50-50 looks like it did not play out. Big chop right here on open. We've been seeing this for the past 2 days. If you guys have been following the entries for the momentum breakout on open, it's been really, really choppy here pre or on market open. And like, let me see how big this candle is. This candle is huge. That's pretty crazy. It's a 110 point candle this morning. There's no news today. I don't know if Powell said anything. Powell's supposed to speak today. Let me see. So he was scheduled to speak right here at 5:30, but we didn't really have market. There was no market reaction to it. So I don't know if he even spoke today. Um, CNBC didn't really report on anything. Yeah, honestly, I don't even know what news comes up anymore because I don't know if it's delayed or if it's canceled or uh, whatever it may be. But yeah, other than that, oh yeah, I guess Powell did speak. So it says Powell speaks to community banking conference. It wasn't like yeah, so he didn't touch on monetary policy. So it was just he was delivering a message, but and it was a recorded message. It wasn't live. Just about the practices in community banks, but nothing on actual monetary policy. So Powell did speak today, but it wasn't anything too crazy. Anyways, here's price as it continues to move along. Like I said earlier, guys, there's no entries for us to take right now. I haven't taken anything for the day. Obviously, the stats over here show that although it has a high win ratio, it doesn't work well on Thursday, so that's why I skipped that on it. Let's see. Ark is asking what happened yesterday. I seen the first trade was a loss, but looks like we ended up in profit. Yeah, there was two trades that were taken yesterday, Ark. So if you followed, I don't know if you were paying attention, but there's two trades that played out yesterday, and that's what we took. So we lost the first one, and we won the second one right here, which was at 751. So the initial trade, I believe, at 6 o'clock lost, and then this one over here at 751 won. It's for a 1 to 2. That's why we ended up in profit. And yeah, the entries for today, I decided not to take anything pre-market or even on open because of the scheduled news. There was scheduled news at 5:30, but obviously it wasn't released. So my next entry is gonna be at 751 here. The same one that we took yesterday. So basically I've been taking the same trades on the algo all week. Basically the 6 o'clock and the 751 one over here. So I'm gonna put these stats into the or look, we'll take a look at this one real quick. The 716, that's the nearest upcoming one. Um Connect. Sorry guys, got connection lost over here. I don't know why this happens, but it seems like whenever the weather gets cold, the internet just gets really horrible here in California. It happens like this every year. It seems like every time we enter the fall, we enter the winter, the internet just gets really spotty. All right, so let me see. I'm gonna let this upload real quick. My algo is updating back up, but there's nothing here right now. Here, let me just refresh it myself. Let's see. Brock said it looks bullish, but acting bearish. LOL. Yeah, it's like I said, if the algo tells me that there's nothing going on or there's nothing to really look at, it's safe to follow the algo because the thing is, the algo is pulling data 24 hours a day. Like the algo pulls more data than you can ever look at on the chart. So if you guys look at my list over here, anyways, if you pull up the Discord, so let's just pull up the Discord real quick. If you look at the list over here, you guys can see that there's not as many entries as there's been in, the previous days. So like for example, over here at 6 o'clock, there's only three entries, right? If you go back a little further, you look at 6 o'clock on, I think this was 2 days ago, there was like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. There was eight entries that were available. You look the day before that, there was one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine entries. So you guys can see the momentum starting to shift a little bit, which is perfectly fine. That's the whole point of this algo. The algo here is tracking momentum. So if momentum's starting to shift the other way, that's perfectly fine. These numbers might change by next week. Like typically, these are the entries that we've been following and we've been seeing for this week and for last week. Typically, the 6 o'clock entry has been coming up because the win ratio has been so high, and then also this one down here at 751. But who knows? By next week, when the algo continues to run, it may give me different trade opportunities. So right now, for the settings on the algo, you can see over here it's called Cody Kai Momentum Algorithm. For my settings over here, I'm looking for pretty much all of the entries between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So right here, I have my stats set to 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and then you can see the top 10 trades right here. So the very top trade was the 6 o'clock one right here with a 73.7% win ratio. Um, the next one right here is going to be at 6:30, which just happened, obviously. 6:30 right here was against momentum. And you can see this one over here pretty much shot right through. The third trade right here is at 7:52. So this is the one that I'm looking to take, right? I'm looking to take this trade right here at 7:52. That's the top third trade. And then obviously, so on. But we do have one here listed at 7:16. I'll just pull it up on the stats real quick. So the one at 7:16 is going to be a 90.45 TP stop loss. The entry is at 0916, which is equivalent to 7:16. And I'll just pull it up. So the report is being updated right now. You can see on the bottom, it says updating report. And we'll just kind of see what the stats look like. I mean, obviously the stats are not good. I already ran the data. So if you look over here, it has a 66.67 probability of winning with a 45 stop loss, 90-point TP. It's a 1-2, but it shows on the stats that it loses pretty much every Thursday. So for the last three Thursdays, it pretty much lost. So it's not one of those trades that I'm looking to take. But we'll see. I mean, obviously, I'm running the data. Yeah, I'm doing everything based off the data. So um, we're just going off the numbers. And this was a question that I kept getting over the past couple of days. Like, this strategy is not based off technical analysis, guys. And because it's called algo, this doesn't mean it's a bot, right? I think that's another misconception that a lot of people have with the word algo. Just because it says algo doesn't mean it's a bot. A bot is something that automatically executes a trade for you. This algo doesn't do that. This algo provides probabilities. So you can pull up a list of trades and then you choose from those list of trades which ones you want to take, right? Obviously, there's going to be a bigger list here, but the only trades that I list have above a 60% probability of winning. So for example, right here, see how it's a 22% probability? I wouldn't take this trade, right? It's a negative trade. So you'll have a list of trades because the algo is running pretty much 24 hours a day on the minute. And these are the list of trades that I found with a high enough probability that's worth taking. And then obviously I go back and I look at the historical data to see if it, if it works or if it doesn't work. So right now I'm looking at the 716 entry. I'm pulling it up right here. It is currently loading. As you guys can see right here, it takes a while to load. It takes like about 40 seconds for it to load. And the reason for that is because what it does is whenever I change the settings here in the algo runs through all the data. So it goes back about, I don't even know how many, I put the numbers here yesterday. Yeah. So basically there's 1,440 minutes in a day. And what it does is it pretty much pulls back 18 days. So every time I change the settings here for the algo is currently running in the background, running through 25,920 candles. So it pretty much pulls the data of 25,000 candles, and then it pulls the criteria and the probabilities and the historical traits. TradingView is taking a lot longer than usual today, though. I don't know why it's taking so long, but this thing's been taking a while. All I did was I switched from, let me just refresh. Maybe this will help. Yeah, it seems like for the past couple weeks, for whatever reason, TradingView's been really, really slow. I mean, you guys have mentioned it too. I don't think it's just me. I think it's just TradingView in general has been really slow loading up. So I'm loading up the algo right now as we speak. There's no entries right now to take. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. You guys can see over your price pretty much knocked out all the liquidity that I marked up here. So we had a liquidity grab down here, liquidity grab up here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean this up a bit because obviously it's a mess. Yeah, there goes that. Let's see. Drew said, "Hey, Sean, sorry, I'm new here, so we just wanted to ask." Yeah, no problem, Drew. You can ask whatever questions you want, right? I'm here to help you out. I don't have any entries coming up until like 7. Caution client state machine. Yeah, I don't know what's up with TradingView today, guys. It's been giving me issues for this week. But anyways, Drew, yeah, you're free to ask questions, but I don't have any trades coming up until like later anyways. But yes, your question is, do you limit or market and typically for your order entries? It's always market. I mean, you could limit if you want, but the thing is, if you do limit, you're probably gonna miss the entry. Okay, it's loaded up now, guys. Sometimes you just have to refresh TradingView to get it up. But yeah, all of my entries are pretty much market, Drew. I used to use limit orders, but what happened with these momentum trades is that it moves too fast. So there's certain strategies where you can use a limit order. Like if you're doing like an MPS or an MPS V2 or any of those other strategies that we've done in the past, for those you would use a limit order. But for the algo entries here, since we're trading based off momentum and it's time based, you have to get in at the exact time. So we're just doing market orders for this specific strategy. Depending on the strategy that you're applying, some of them will be limit, but for this algo entry, it's always going to be market because you'd rather be in the position than not, right? Usually what happens is when the momentum pushes through, um, there's usually like no drawdown. So if that's the case and there's no drawdown, it'll never pull back to fill the pending order. So you can change some of the settings here. Oops. The percentage was cut off. All right, so as you guys can see from the market here, nothing's really going on, right? Price is just going back and forth, back and forth. We had a big spike to the upside, spike down, spiked up, now it's spiking back down. If you look closely, price is really just ranging between these two areas. Although I'm not looking at market structure here, I'm just showing you guys that this is kind of the market structure that's currently happening. I'll take a look at the overall direction right now. So let's take a look at the overall trend. Looking over here at the overall trend, the 1 minute is currently neutral. Prices in between the pivots. The trend meter is green. Pivots are going sideways. Looking over here on the 5 minutes, currently bullish. You can see prices above the pivots. The trend meter is green down here, and the pivots are angling up. The 15 minute is neutral. Price is kind of in between the pivots, not really angling anywhere, and the trend meter down below is currently blue. So the lower time frames here are more on the neutral side. Looking over here on the higher time frames, also neutral, right? On the 30 minute, you can see prices in between the pivots. The trend meter is red, pivots are going sideways. Same with the 1 hour over here, prices in between the pivots. The trend meter is red, pivots are going sideways. And the 4 hour here is actually bullish neutral. Prices going in between the pivots, however, prices above the pivots, and the trend meter is green. So it's pretty mixed. Overall, the trend here is just it's all neutral. There's not really much of an overall trend. Now, looking over here at the market structure is a little mixed as well. You can see over here on the 1 minute, it's currently bullish. The 5 minute strong bullish, 15 minutes bullish, 30 minutes neutral, 1 hour is bearish, and the 4 hour is currently neutral. Like I said, for my algo over here, I don't really care about this stuff, right? I'm not going off any of this price action, technical analysis, or any of that stuff. I'm just going off the time where momentum's moving. So right now, I don't really have any entries around this time period because my algo didn't really identify momentum around this time, right? The only times that we had momentum was around 6, and then market open happened, and then right here you can see there is more momentum around 7 o'clock. So there's one setup here at 7:16. This is when I was just looking at. So for this trade over here, it has a 66.67% probability of winning the trade. It's won 12 out of the 18 trades for the previous 18 trading days. However, looking over here at the list of trades, this is another thing that I like to look at. I look at the historical data, right? So you can see it's been on a win streak. It's been pretty much winning every day. Let's see, it's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's on a 7 day win streak right now. So for 7 days back to back to back, it's just been killing it, hitting. The only problem here, okay, is that so today's Thursday. I like to look at the data on Thursday, right? So if we look at Thursday here, the first Thursday, basically last week was on October 2nd, which was a win. Wait, these numbers here aren't right. Let me make sure the settings here are properly because in my stats, I put that it lost every Thursday. So this is a 45.90. Yeah, 916. Okay, so maybe my stats are not right here. So it actually won here on October 2nd. So October 2nd it won. The next Thursday before that was the 25th. Okay, this one lost. That's right. And then on the 18th over here it won. So actually this trade here at 716 could be decent. So let me just, I don't know if I was looking at this wrong yesterday or what it may be, but the 716 entry could be decent. I don't think it's going to be great, but it could be decent. The reason why I say that is because the win ratio is pretty decent, but the thing that I don't like about this entry is that the TP stop loss is super, super far out. I mean, it's going to be a big move. It's a 90-point target, 45-point stop loss. So I'll follow it right here. Um, I'm going to have to calculate my risk on this. Let's see, because I'm typically doing 3 contracts for a 20-point stop loss. So 3 times 5 times 20, usually risky about 300 per trade. So I'd have to calculate it for a 45-point risk. So yeah, it's going to be a big difference. I don't know if I'll take that trade. I don't like the numbers because they're like way off. So typically I'm usually risking 300 to make 600 per trade with the 40/20. If I was to use one contract, it'd be risking 225 to make 450, which is not a big difference. But you guys can see the risk reward's not going to be super spot on. And then if I do 2 contracts, the risk is going to be too high because I'm typically risking 300 per trade. This is going to give me a 450 risk. So what we'll do here is I'll mark up the trade at 716. If you guys want to take it, feel free to take it. I'll follow it for you guys. But I don't like the criteria of a 45.90 TP stop loss. It's just a little too spread out for me. Let's see. Question from Drew. Drew said, got it. So say your algo entry is, it's not based off price, Drew. So it's never going to give you a price. It gives you a time for entering. So you'll never have that issue. But let me just continue to reread your question. So Drew said, got it. So your algo entry is at 47, but your market order fills at 47.05. So if that's the case, for example, you would base it off whatever the original TP stop loss would be true. Yeah. So like say for example, the entry right now at 716, right? We'll just use your hypothetical. So like say for example, you enter over here at 517. What usually happens is the volatility is not super high, so your slippage isn't gonna be that far off. Like a 5 point slippage is pretty far. That's a big slippage point. So at 716, if you enter that and say for example, your entry's at yeah, you said 5 point difference. Here, let's mark it up over here real quick. I'll just kind of show you. I'm gonna use a whole number here. Okay, so say for example, right here, we have a bearish momentum, price pulls up, and then your entry happens right here, right? And your entry, say it closes exactly at 46,900, and your TP stop loss is 40.20. We're just using this as a hypothetical. Yeah, if your entry happens somewhere below here or somewhere above it, if there's slippage in either direction, your setup is still going to be the same. I mean, you can change it if you want, but we're going off the data here. The data is showing that it pushes this amount of points. So you want to keep it as close to the data as possible or exact, right? You want to have it exactly what the data is showing. Because that 1 point could mean the difference between winning or losing the trade. If you look over here, so I think there was a couple trades here that, where is it at? Let's go to my official trades. So there were some trades here that were like literally spot on with target. Like this one right here. So this one was on, what day was this? This was yet was this yesterday? Yeah, on the 8th. So our entry over here, this trade went exactly to the target, right? If you try to go for another point, like say for example, you had slippage and it was 5 points, and you try to go for a 5 points above, you would have been trapped in this position here. So it's really important that you get out wherever the algo tells you it's moving. Sometimes it's going to move farther. So for example, here, we'll go back to the 751 entry. So my target entry, I'm only going for 40 points, but there's a higher target, right? If you want to go for the 50, the 60, it shows here at 751, it goes to 40, 50, 60. So if you see this right here and they line up next to each other, then yes, okay, you can let the trade run a little longer, right? Because the odds of it pushing further out are likely. But if you have like only one entry here, for example, 716, and the target's at 90, you don't want to go past that because the algo didn't identify that price pushed it further than that. So what might happen here for the 716 entry is that it will probably go straight to target and then it'll probably reverse from there. So that's how you want to do it. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. But the algo will be different, right? So like depending on your data, if your data shows that it pushes farther, then you can let it go further. But if not, I would just pull it. Or not pull it, but I would have it exactly where it's set to. Ace hindsight, morning. All right, so let's see. It's about to be 7 o'clock right here. The next entry is right here at 716. We'll continue to follow it, but we're starting to get some direction here, which is good. Um, Let me move this down to this second window. I want to see if I like it better down here. It's kind of big up here, but I'm okay with it. Okay, now if I put it down here, I have to make this window super big. Yeah, I'll just leave it up there. It's not too bad. I just don't like how I can't stick everything on here. I'll drag this down a little bit. All right, so price is dumping right now. We've had like these like really unusual movements today and yesterday. If you guys remember yesterday at market open, price dumped like 300 points or so. Um, and it just kept dumping from there. So what I'm looking for right here at 716 is I'm looking for a continuation, right? So if I see price turn around from this point and it starts to push up higher, then I'm expecting this to push up until 8 o'clock. But if this here pushes down, comes up, and then comes back down lower, then I'm expecting it to drop. So wherever price is pushing from 716 up until 752, basically 7 to 8, I'm expecting price to continue in that direction. So what you want to look out for here is look out for either a reversal back to the upside, and it's probably going to continue back up, or look for a continuation to the downside. But basically between this window here, because the reason why I'm saying that is because my algo over here shows that we're trading with momentum, right? So from 7:16 up until 7:52, it's always with momentum. So I'm not trading off the price action or off the technical analysis, but I'm using the data here to identify, which direction price will probably be pushing to. So we pretty much just got to wait for it here. So price continues to move along. So big dump right here. Price pretty much shot through this whole area of liquidity. You can see price blasted through the liquidity right there. Sweep happened right here. Looks like Sam caught it for 50 points. Nice work, Sam. Barack mentioned, I see we revisited the demand zone from October 2nd, being the third retest. Hope it breaks through at least to 628. Okay. So Barack's looking for this to dump further. Again, like I mentioned, I don't really care about the price action very much. I'm just looking to see where momentum is currently sitting. Right now, momentum's obviously bearish. You can see prices below. We have a bearish momentum right here. Price follow this momentum. My algo over here doesn't have any times during that period. I'm going to change the settings a little bit. So I'm going to change it from 7 o'clock until 9. It's basically 7 to 9 here is where I'm adapting it to. You'll see that the algo prices over here start to change. Again, if you guys are new here or if you guys are just joining in, the good news here is that I published the algo on TradingView, guys. So if you guys have access to the indicators and the tools, you guys will have access to this algo by the end of today. I haven't given access to anybody yet, so I need to go through one by one and provide access. But you guys will have access to it later today. If you guys want to sit in on the mentoring session, or yeah, basically a mentoring session. I'm gonna host a session today around 2 or 3 o'clock. Probably 2 o'clock. I want to get it done earlier. And I'll explain to you guys how to use the algo here so that you guys can kind of play around with it tonight and set up your own trades. Like I mentioned, this algo works on all assets. So if you want to trade NQ or if you want to trade ES, gold, Russell, whatever, it doesn't matter what asset you want to trade. It doesn't have to be futures either. You can trade stocks, you can trade anything really. This algo will work on any asset. Um, it's just the data will be kind of skewed depending on the asset that you choose. So for example, if you were to choose a stock, right? Like if you wanted to trade something like NVIDIA, it's not going to give you a lot of good numbers here because you have to like have the settings proper. Like you'll have to have a specific target that you're going to be using. I don't know, like a 40/20, I guess. And then also you have to have a certain time and then a period that you're going to be following in. So, this is my algo currently now running on NVIDIA if you wanted to run it on a stock. I don't think the numbers will be good, but yeah. So right here, it pretty much gave some stats, but the thing is like you have to set up the stats properly for this specific asset. Going back to NQ, so I know NQ is one of you guys' favorites. So for NQ over here, if you run the algo, I think it was 5025 was like the number that was used for NQ. So if you want to run it on NQ, basically you'll just have the settings set up properly to whatever times you want to use it as. And then you can see over here, it gives me all the trades between these are all the trades between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock that have this probability. My TP stop loss is probably not right because I don't trade in NQ, so I'm not sure what the typical TP stop loss would be. I think if you're doing a 50/20 over here, so if you're doing a 50/20, I think it might be too small, honestly. So it'd be the long position right there, and the stop out would be right here. So it looks like this would be 100 to 200 TP stop loss. Want it a little tighter, and you can just change the settings there. And then you can see my algo here is now updating, and then now it gives you different entry points with different probabilities. But again, I don't trade NQ. So if you guys want to do it, you guys are free to play around with it yourself. Whether you want to trade NQ, ES, gold, etc. The one thing so if you guys want to look at a different asset aside from YM, gold is like the one that I found a lot of I found some pretty good, like it looked good on gold with the statistics. It's hard for me to shift between gold and YM, so I'm not really looking at gold. If you guys do want to play around with gold, here's my algo is currently updating, and we'll kind of see here as it loads up. Yeah, so again with gold, I don't know what the t typical TP stop loss would be because I don't trade gold. Um, I think I have the numbers here though. Yeah, like for gold here, I think we did 100 to 50. And you guys will see the stats here will update. So these are the times and then the win percentages. Obviously, the win percentages aren't good. I try to stay above 65%, but you got to play around with the TP stop losses to understand. So this one over here is pretty high. This one gave me a 53.8% win ratio. But again, like I said, guys, you guys would have to play around with this because I don't know the numbers for these specific assets. Let's see, hindsight's asking what level of trading view is optimal for K2 indicators. I mean, you probably would need like the second one. I mean, I don't know what the thing is. Trading views changed so much since I have the highest one, but you don't need the highest one. You would need something that's like before it used to be called the pro plan. I don't know what they call it now. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Explore plans. It's probably plus. Okay, so they changed the names a little bit. It's you'd probably need plus, or you probably do essential. Let me see what the difference is here. Chart data export. Uh, you probably could do it with the cheapest one with the essential, actually. I don't really see anything different here very much. Um, yeah, I mean, you don't need much. If you're going to run the algo, you only need like one tool. So this will give you 5 indicators per chart. That's more than enough. I have the premium or the old, I forget which one I have the ultimate, I think. But like, you don't need all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, you could probably just do it with the essential. And then if the essential is not enough, you can always upgrade to the plus. Yeah, you don't really need very much. If you're just applying the algo, you're only going to need like 2 indicators, which is the momentum and the algorithm. The momentum so that you can see the direction of price, and the algo so that you can have the numbers. But you can also just turn it off. Like for example, if you have the numbers for the algorithm, you can just turn it off and then just have the momentum on. But all right, guys. So let's see. Everything's set up here. This is gonna be 90.45. The next entry, which is coming up, guys, is gonna be right here at 716. It looks like price is starting to shift to the upside. So what you might look for here is you might look for a possible buy entry. Buy entry is probably going to be the most ideal. Hey, hindsight. Okay, I just saw your message. Sorry, I saw your message on Discord as well, but you asked it here on the YouTube, so you're good. Um, let's see. All right, so it looks like price here is pushing up. We'll see what happens between 704 and 716. So with the entry right here at 716, it's going to be with momentum. So depending on where momentum is pushing, so for example, right now we have a sell momentum. So it's currently at a sell direction. If we get a buy momentum, which comes up here, it may, flip the other way. right. So we got some profits over here from SAG. SAG locked in 26 or 2,612. Nice work, SAG. Solid profits right there. Um, all right, so here's like the best part with the algo, guys. The best part with the algo is really just being able to have a set time to take entries, right? Um, the way that this algo works is it's more of a quant-based strategy. So everything is based off the data. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't use technical analysis or price action or trend or bias or anything like that really for these entries here. What the algo does is it identifies where momentum moves at certain parts of the day. And these are all the times that I have marked up here between like 7 and 8 o'clock. So that's why right now I'm not looking for anything. You can see here how price is not really doing too much. It's just going back and forth. I'm just waiting for 716 right here because that's where momentum starts to move. I'm going to use this as a catalyst for my later entry. The entry that I'm actually looking to take is going to be later at 751. If you guys want to take these earlier entries, that's perfectly fine, but it's not one of my target entries. My target entry is going to be right here at 751. So I'll be looking to get in at 751 with momentum. The probability of that trade winning is 66.67. Like I mentioned before, guys, it'll never be 100%, right? You can never be 100% with trading. There's no guarantees with trading. But you can weigh the favors, you can weigh the odds in your favor, of course, right? And that's by doing, your own analysis. Like I said, this is more of a quant style trading because we're trading everything based off data. Like I'm not looking at this and I'm saying, okay, price is bearish right now, so I'm going to look for a sell, right? That's not the case. The case here is price is going to reach 716 right here, and I'm going to go with momentum. Right here, obviously momentum's coming down, but if momentum swings up, I can look for buys at that point. Or you can look for buys if you want to take that trade at 716. The reason why I'm going to use this as a catalyst is because my actual entry that I'm looking for is going to be at 751, right? So what I want to see here is if momentum starts to swing to the upside, then I'm going to look for a continuation up higher as it gets to this point, right? To fill this gap here, right? If you're trading price action or you're looking at technical analysis, you want price to fill this area, right? Otherwise, what I might see here is price may push up a little bit. And then if it starts to come back down, it's basically like a head and shoulders pattern. And then it's going to fill this lower gap right here, right? Push up and come back down. So the thing is you can use technical analysis and price action to identify, confluences and filters. But for the most part, my actual entry is based off the quant data here. Right, because we're going off the numbers. Like the reason why I'm taking this trade at 751 is not because I think price is going up or because I think price is going down. The reason why I'm taking it is because it has a 66.67% win ratio, and then on the historical data, it's won every Thursday. So if it wins every Thursday and it has a high probability of it winning, obviously that's a risk that I'm willing to take. This one over here, so this one's okay too. And basing it off the data here, it's a 66.67% win ratio, which is good as well, going with momentum. The only thing here that I would be more concerned about is really the risk to reward. It's 45.90 move, right? It's a really big move to be holding on to. And the thing is, like, we try to calculate my risk. The risk is not going to be spot on because I'm normally risking about 300 per trade. If I was to go down a contract size, basically to one contract, I'd be risking 225, which is not bad. It's like partial risk, but it's not going to yield the same amount of profit that I usually make, right? Because if I win a trade with a normal risk, I'm risking 300 to make 600. If I take this on one contract, I'm going to risk 225 to make 450. So you guys can see here, if I take two trades, one wins, one loses, it's not really going to balance out. And that's why I need to take one that lines up with my risk. So, all right, there is nothing here so far. Let's see. Barack said, seems like we are buying. Done for the day. Happy hunting, y'all. I'll be back for the algo session, hopefully. Yeah, Barack, 2 o'clock Pacific time. Okay. So just try to come back around 2 o'clock Pacific time. I think that's going to be the time that I'll set up the meeting for today. I'll give you guys a confirmation. It's probably going to be 2 o'clock though. It's just I want to have enough time for me to go into the actual tool here and then give access to everybody. So if you guys want access to this algorithm, you have to have access to the indicators by today. If you don't have access to the indicators today, you're never going to be able to try this out, right? And this is only temporary access because I'm just letting you guys kind of try it out for now as I continue to work on it. So if you guys want access to this algorithm, like if you want to be able to take trades or you want to be able to identify the trades throughout the entire day and take your own trades, and if you want to try this out on different assets, I can't stress it enough, guys. Like, I already know there's going to be people who are going to be asking to be added to the algorithm tomorrow or whatever, but my plan is not to share this with you guys, right? I'm only sharing with you guys here because you guys are part of the community. So if you guys want this, don't be late because if you're late, you're going to miss out on it. Um, Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool because if you guys like to trade other assets like YM, ES, gold, Russell, whatever, you guys can do your own data. I'm gonna give you guys the whole rundown of how I do it. So later at the session today at 2 o'clock, I'm going to give you guys my whole step-by-step process. I'm gonna show you guys exactly like how I get these numbers here, right? Because the algorithm doesn't give you this list. You have to create this list yourself. It'll give you probabilities and numbers, but I'm going to show you how to make this list here so that you can look for high probable entries for the next day. Basically, what I do every day is I go on so every night, so like last night, 10 o'clock, I basically pulled up these times that I wanted trades and I already identified. So like by last night, I already knew I'm not trading during this entire period. I'm only going to trade at wherever my target entry was, whatever has the highest probability, which is 751. So this is cool because you're not really stressing over the charts, right? You're not really chasing any moves here. You're kind of just waiting for your time to come. And then when your time comes, you're looking to take that entry. So again, if you guys are new here or if you guys want access to the algorithm and the indicators and the tools and you want to be able to take these types of trades, because you guys look at this, like look at my profits for this month. Like this is life-changing profits, right? It's crazy how good this algorithm is, right? Like look for October, we're on a crazy win streak. We won on Monday, we won on Tuesday. It doesn't show up here, but pretty much every day we've been winning overall, not winning every single trade, but we've been winning, profitability every single day. And my stats over here have been crazy for October. I started using the algo right here and look how far we pushed up. Right. I had a little slump in September and then I came all the way back up. And these are my gross profits. So you guys can see this is why I'm not looking to share this with the general public, right? I'm only sharing with you guys here because you guys are part of the community and you guys pretty much been behind me pushing to get this better and better every day. So for those of you guys that are here and want access to it, you'll get access to this and hopefully your accounts are going to look like mine, because this is a pretty nice win streak. Like my goal here is really to or I'm hoping to, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm hoping to get like this would be crazy to have this whole October all green, right? Obviously, I had a slump here in September. This is the real life aspect of trading, right? We had a couple of red days here, whatever it happens. But you can see over here from September 29th, it was green. September 30th, green. It's been on a win streak. So we've been on a pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hopefully 9 win streak right here. 9 days back to back applying the algo. Only sticking to high probability trades and letting them run basically. So yeah, if you guys want access to it, just make sure that you guys have access today because if you're not on the list, you're not on the list. And you're not going to be on the list probably ever because I'm probably not going to reopen it. Or if I do reopen, it's going to be a trimmed down version of this. You're not like right now I'm giving you guys the full access to the actual algo. In the future, it's probably going to be a trimmed down version because obviously I don't want to share my edge with everybody, right? This edge is too strong to be shared with uh with the general public. So, all right, guys, the first entry here is coming up at 7:16. Again, I said I'm not going to be taking this trade here because it doesn't meet my criteria. But if you guys do want to take it, I'll mark it up for you guys right here. It is 7:14, so in about 2 minutes, you'll have the direction of the momentum here. So it's pretty big. You guys can see the range here is pretty big. I mean, it's enough for it to reach target though. So if it pushes up to this area up here, I mean, you have enough space there for target. But we'll be following it. All right, Brock. Yeah, we'll see you here later at 2. All right, so we'll see what happens here, guys. If you guys are looking to take this trade, we got another minute, so it's not coming up yet. Again, my entry is not coming up until 7:51, so I got my target entry right there. I'll run the stats on that after this one has come up. All right, let's see if there's any updates with regard to the news for today. All right, so we got the entry coming up right here, guys. It's going to be after this candle right here, so it's going to be a buy. The entry at 716 is going to be a buy with momentum. The thing with this here is I don't think momentum is actually pushing up, right? We have a floor here set up, but I don't know if this is going to actually push up like that. It's going to be tough because it looks like price here is really just consolidating and ranging. Harmony's asking, how do you get on the list? So to get on the list, you have to have access to the indicators. So to have access to the indicators, this is where you would get. It's basically for whoever's already who has access to the indicators now. So if you want to sign up for it, I mean, feel free to sign up for it, guys. I mean, you guys can see the turnaround for this. It's worth it. I mean, honestly, if you were to have one account, so say for example, you had one account, right? You'd be able to make that back pretty quickly, like with just one trade or even a couple trades. All right, so the entry is running right now at 716, guys. I'm not in this position, but I will follow it for you guys. So we got the trade running right here. This is the 716 trade with momentum. So right here we had a bullish momentum, right? We had a sell momentum which came up right here, but it was bullish here prior. So at 716, it was with momentum, so obviously a buy. The win ratio for this is 66.67. We look back at the historical data over here. The historical data show that it won basically 2 out of the 3 Thursdays. So it showed a probability of it hitting typically on this day in the direction of momentum. Um, the only thing here is that it's such a wide TP stop loss, right? So we're following it here. Obviously, I'm hoping that it hits. If this is the case and it hits, which would be great, then I'm going to be looking for a possible continuation here at 751. So the trade's currently running in profit right there. It's looking good so far, no drawdown. Let's see. It's looking good so far. Again, like I said before, guys, the win ratio for this trade is 66.67, right? So basically, it won 12 out of the 18 trades. Out of the 18 trading days where this setup came up at 716, it won 12 out of them. So there's no guarantee, there's no 100% probability it's going to hit, but I think the probabilities are pretty good. I mean, 66.67 for a 1 to 2 risk reward strategy. To be profitable with a 1 to 2, you only need to be, have a hit rate of about 33.3%. So this here is basically double odds in your favor. And you can see right there, price is pushing up. The trade looks good though. I mean, overall the trade looks good. It's just it didn't meet my criteria because, like I said, the TP is just too far out. Did it hit 40 points already? Let's see. It's almost at 40 points. So 40 points would have been good, but we'll follow it. Again, I'm not really looking for anything until 7:52, so I'll be chilling until we get here to 7:52. All right, we're getting some slow market here. This is normal. The slow market is normal. This was anticipated and this was expected because the market tends to die down after 7 o'clock. So this thing might be in limbo for a bit. It might just go back and forth, back and forth. Eventually, I'm expecting it to push up, but it might take some time before it does. The next entry is going to be at 721. This has a 61.11% win ratio. The risk reward on this is a little bit tighter. So we might get a trade within a trade here, depending on where the volatility is at, right? So 721, we'll kind of see where this goes. The thing with this here is that if the trades go opposite of each other, that's where it's going to be a bit of a mess, right? And that's why I mentioned I don't like taking trades when price is going sideways like this because these are momentum-based entries. So you need to have some sort of volatility, some sort of momentum, sort of direction. If the market goes back and forth like this isn't a good time to take momentum entries, right? Because the thing is, you need price to push pretty far out, especially for this. This is why I didn't want to take this trade because the target's so far out. It's 90 points. And if price here just continues to limbo, this can easily stop you out before it reaches your target. All right, so this is going to be tough because, so let me just show you guys real quick. These are going to be going opposite of each other. The 716 was a bullish entry with momentum. The 721 entry is actually going to be bearish because the momentum is now bearish right here with the sell signal. So that's why I try to avoid these trades here. This is why, the whole reason why I decided not to take any trades here because the data doesn't really line up with what I'm looking for. The data lines up more with the entry down here at 751. So I'll keep watching it here. I mean, this thing might just go sideways for a bit, and then eventually it just might move directional to the upside or, to the downside. Yeah, we don't know for sure. All right, so this is going to be a tough setup here because they're both going to be going opposite of each other. So the 716 is for a buy, the 721 is for a sell. This is going to be a 70-35. This is why you have to choose your entries carefully, right? You got to choose them carefully because sometimes they might go opposite. So even though these have came up, obviously I'm not looking for that entry. The entry that I'm looking for is at 751. So let me just pull up the 751 entry, and then we'll do an analysis of this. I'm just using these previous ones as confluences. So let me update it here. The ones that I look to take, guys, so if you ever look at the posts here, because I'm going to post, well, I've been posting in Discord. When you guys look at my entries here, the ones that I actually look to take are going to say target entry. See, my stats over here for 716, I put that it was losing every Thursday, so that's why it wasn't like a great trade. But the ones that I'm looking to take, they will always have target entry listed on them because I vetted those trades and they look like good entries. I've done the historical data, I've done the probabilities, I've done the matchup, and it lines up. So let me just check this off real quick. This is the current one that's currently running. If this is the case and price continues to drop lower, then I'm going to be looking for a possible sell here for the 752. Thing is, I just wanted to break out of this chop, this back and forth chop right here. So let's take a look at the price action right now. This is where price is currently sitting right now. It's currently ranging between this middle point. If it breaks below it, great. I mean, this sell entry is actually in a good place because it looks like it could break and retest off this structure and then come back down further. But the price action and technical analysis doesn't really affect me. Everything here is based off the quant data. So either way, I'm going to be looking for this here at 752. Okay, so let's just do an analysis of my trade here at 752. We still have like 20 minutes or so, so it's not happening anytime soon. But looking at the data over here at 752, see the stats here, right? Or 751, sorry. So 751 right here. This is the entry for my target. It's a 40-point target, 20-point stop loss. It's with momentum, so I have this all set up here. Everything here is proper. It lines up to the exact entry that I'm looking to take. Let's take a look at the list of trades. This is like usually the final confirmation that I like to use. I look back at every Thursday trade. So looking over here, last Thursday was October 2nd. You can see it hit full TP right there for 2000. The Thursday before that was September 25th. So you can see over here again the prior Thursday, full TP on that one. And then the one before that is September 6th, September 18th, right here. So again, you can see here that it wins pretty much every Thursday. So with that being the case, I have a lot of confidence in this 756 entry or 751 entry that it's likely to push in our direction if we take it with momentum. So yeah, and you can kind of see the pattern here. So if you look at if you look at my setup of trades here, whenever it's like against, this means that price is turning against you, right? It's reversing. Vice versa, if you're looking the other way, price will be going with momentum. So for example, if momentum is going down, I'm expecting it to continue down lower at 751. This trade's probably going to hit the 721 trade. It's just going to take a while. Yeah, this is what I just talked about, right? This thing will probably just go sideways for a bit. Eventually, it'll probably just start climbing down once the volume picks back up. But we're pretty much just going to wait for it. So while we wait here, let's go ahead and take a look at the overall trend again. Let's see if anything here has shifted. So this has actually shifted a ton since the last time we looked at the overall trend. The 1 minute here is obviously bearish. You can see prices below the pivots. The trend meter is red and the pivots are angling down. Looking over here at the 5 minute, same thing. Prices below the pivots. The trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. And same here on the 15 minute. Again, price here is below the pivots. The trend meter is red and the pivots are angling down. So on the lower time frames over here, price is obviously in a bearish trend. Looking over here on the higher time frames, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, same thing with this here, 30 minute prices below the pivots. The trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. Same with the 1 hour and the 4 hour here starting to shift to the downside. So overall trend here is pretty strong for a bearish confirmation. Looking over here at market structure. Market structure is a little mess. Let me go and clean this up a little bit. So pretty much all the liquidity here got grabbed. Another one right there. Another one right there. Clean this up. Another one right there. But yeah, looking over here at market structure, you can see on the 1 minute it's currently bullish. Not very strong, but it is bullish. 5 minutes bearish, 15 minutes neutral, 30 minutes bearish, 1 hour is bearish, and the 4 hour is neutral. So with that being said, you can see over here that the odds of price dropping down are likely, but it's not 100%. Price can easily just shift back up as well. So again, this is another reason why I decided to not take this trade here. Here's the thing. Basically, in the basically the night before, I already pick out my trades. So I'll show you guys a list of my trades here, but I already pick out my trades the night prior. So last night I already knew I was going to trade at 751. So there's no surprises, right? I don't get any FOMO. I don't get any ideas. Like for example, I saw these entries here, but I did my data yesterday and I already knew they weren't trades that I wanted to take. So that's why obviously I decided not to take this one. I'm just waiting for my entry right here at 751. And I think that's the best part about having this algo is that you can have a set time to take the entry. Hey Blanco, what's up? Morning. Blanco said, good morning, good morning. I was stopped out this morning at 9:30. Was the opposite than yesterday. Was able to catch 200 ticks on the reversal to the upside. Nice. Blanco said, today I am waiting for the second entry to give me one, waiting for a reversal again. Okay, gotcha, Blanco. Yeah, I'm looking for the same thing. I'm either looking for a reversal or I'm looking for the continuation, to the downside. Visual is asking if anyone got the 2 minute orb. It was nice and clean for 100 points. Let's check. Yeah, so the orb dumped over here. If you guys took it on close, I know I know visual typically likes to take it on close. So this thing closed below and it dumped right below. It never retested, so there would be no entry here for myself. But if you guys took this trade here, yeah, it dumped pretty heavily. See, this is the reason why I stopped taking the orb so much was that a lot of times it would just never come back to fill. It would never come back to fill, and I would need to get once I create an algo for the orb, then I'll probably take this again. But right now, I just don't know what the good numbers are with regard to looking for the retest or looking for just the breaking close. Because if you took it for breaking close, I mean, obviously it would have played out pretty nice. Like what Visual said, it pushed down for 100 points easily. All right, let's go back to our algo trade. So trade's still running in profit. There's like basically no drawdown here. Price kind of pulled up to break even to opening or entry price, but now it's coming back down. So this right here is the 721 entry. There you go. Beautiful trade right there. You can see here the algo identified this perfectly, right? So like I said, the algo here predicted that momentum was going to shift down because what happens here at 721 every day for the past 18 trading days. So if you go on the calendar and you're like, okay, how many days did this drop at this exact time? The algo pulled the quantitative data and it showed that every day at 721, basically 12 out of the 18 days, it pushed in the direction of momentum. And that's exactly what's happening here. So if you guys are in this position, it's looking good so far. Obviously, I'm looking for it to hit for you guys. I would never fade the algo, although like it's never going to be 100%. I would never fade the algo. I still got 20 minutes till my entry, so hanging tight. But we'll see. Rashida was asking about the signal over here for the 716. So yeah, for the 716, you're going to be looking at whatever the momentum is prior to that candle. So like for example here, this here it was at 721, right? Even if you had a buy signal right there, you would take the sell because the most recent momentum that closed was a sell. The only thing that doesn't happen very often, Rashida. So like when you do have a momentum on the actual entry candle, a lot of times that's probably going to be it. It's like a red flag to avoid the trade because it'll show that there's inconsistency with the momentum confirmation, right? So yeah, that's something to maybe look at in the future if it's something that you take. I haven't really tested it that way, but when I see it, usually it indicates that something weird's gonna happen in the market, like some sort of fake out or something like that. But you would still take the one prior to the entry candle. Let's see, Blanco said, I never really understood the orb. The concept is nice and simple, but the odds are a bit weird and random. It would have seasons that retest and some that it just blows past like crazy. Yeah, exactly, Blanco. I agree with you 100%. When I first started applying the orb, it was retesting every single time, so it was good. If you look at the historical data for the orb, the retest is going to give you the highest probability of it winning, but there's going to be like time periods where you never take any entries. Like if you look at my calendar over here, Blanco. So not for, well, for September too, there's a lot of days here where I didn't have any trades, right? But if you go back to August, like in August, this was pretty crazy. Like we went, I went almost weeks without an entry, right? Like basically from right here, I had 5 days no entry because it never retested. Again, right here, 7 days without entry. It's a lot of days without entry. Um, and I agree with you. It's kind of random. You just have to find out whatever's a sweet spot, right? The retest or just the breakthrough. Um, for me, I like the retest, but it's like it hasn't really been retesting at all lately. Yes, market's kind of slow. It's getting me kind of lazy. It's got me yawning. All right, I'm gonna step away for 1 second, guys. I'm gonna grab some water. If there's anything you want me to cover, feel free to hop into the chat. I will I'll be back real quick. I just wanted to check this real quick before I went down. It looks like the trade's about to hit, guys. So this is looking good. If you guys take this algo entry at 721, it's looking good. I just updated the settings real quick so that we could uh we could see where the entry was taken and stuff like that. I mean, obviously right there you can see the short, so it came down. I mean, the win ratio is not that great. I don't know why the win ratio is super off, but win ratio is at 33%. But it's running. It's running. It's looking good. So I'll leave this as is, guys. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some water. All right, guys, I'm back. Looks like it hasn't hit yet. It's still going sideways. Um, anyways, let me pull up the chat. Let's see. Yeah, Solange said I agree. I see a lot with the opening breakout. So even signals a minute after open. Yeah. If you ever like see that, it's usually a sign that there's like, there's just inconsistency with the direction of momentum. That's why in a sense like that, you can probably use the if you wanted to use the trend to confirm, but it's tricky. It's always tricky when you put it into perspective. And you don't want to use too many filters. Like, like for example, when I take these algo entries, I don't use any other filters. I just go directly off the algo because it's called overfitting. Like that's, if you have too much criteria, it's called overfitting, and then you end up the strategy becomes totally different. So with me, I'm just going off raw data. I'm going off raw momentum and just looking for trades based off that. Yeah, visuals said for the orb, you need to use the tick chart for entry because there is a lot of volume coming in. Your entry will be closing below the 1 minute. Yeah, and I agree with you too, visual on that too. At some point in the future, maybe I'll run some algos with tick data. I mean, even with the momentum, we might even do that. Like right now it's time based, but if we can do tick data, that could be even better. But we'll see. It's just a matter of time until I get to that point. But right now, I'm pretty good with the set times. Let's see. Hadas is asking on 752, there are two entry points. Which one would you recommend taking? Let's see. So, okay, so for the 752, what I would do here, and this is what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, Hadas, is I would go with the initial 2040, but then you can shoot for the 70, right? So like what I mean by that is like, say for example, here you're taking the sell. I would go with the 40 TP and the 20 stop loss as a baseline. And then what you can do here is you can manually manage the position. So for example, here, it's currently at 40, but then say you want to go for the 50, right? So whenever price reaches that 40 point, what you'll do is you'll move your stop loss and profit to the 40, and then you just keep trailing it lower and lower. So if you want to go for the 50, then you can go for that. This way, you pretty much cap your risk at 20 points, but then you can go for a bigger R multiple, right? So like when you do a 40-20, you're doing a 1 to 2. If you go for a 50 or a 60 or 70, you turn that from a 1 to 2 to a 1 to 3 or a 1 to 4. So you can make more profit on it, but you're only risking the same amount that you started with, which is 20 points. So you keep your risk super tight, but you have the ability to reach, 70 points. And that's typically what I do. It's going to be a bit more work, like, for sure it's going to be a bit more work, but you'll be able to lock in a lot more profit and then cap your risk at 20 points. So you don't have to use a big stop loss. Or I mean, if you wanted to, you could, but I wouldn't recommend it. Obviously, if you're at 20 points, I'd rather have a 20-point stop loss right here versus what is the biggest one? 35. It's not a big difference, but I'd still rather have a tighter stop loss. Right. So yeah, quick answer to your question is I would go for the 2040 because I would like to limit my risk and then, lock in profit where possible. Like for example, look at this entry right here at the 721. Right. This target is too big. It's 70 points. When there's no volume in the market and the volatility is so low, like this trade could probably come back down, but the thing with this here is that I would prefer to take this with, if this was a 40-20, like this trade would have hit already, right? It would have been straight to profit already. But because the volume and the momentum here is so slow, you end up getting caught in this retracement. Like not to say this isn't going to come back down because this can easily just, it can easily just go back and forth right here, and then all of a sudden it shoots right back down to target. But this is why for me, I prefer to stick with the 40-20 whenever it's possible. And then I can go aim for those bigger targets. So this is probably going to come back down, but I'd be stressing out a little bit because it's kind of stuck there. All right, let me clean this up. The trade's still running, guys. This is the same trade from earlier. Still running at the moment. All right. So we got about less than 10 minutes till our trade over here at 7:51. What I'm hoping for here is I'm hoping that we get another sell signal. And then the entry here is going to be for a sell. Because if we get that entry for a sell, it's going to pretty much push this trade to its target. And we basically double up on the entries over here. So this one's running right there. As we get closer to 7:51, I'm going to go ahead and change the criteria here. Yeah, that 7:21 trade's still running right now. It's taking some time, but it looks like it's on its way to target. Huge move right there, 70 points. Yep. Yep. Looks good. Ed is asking, Shauna, will you record the algo meeting later? Not sure if others will be for the others, but yeah, no, it's gonna be recorded, Ed. So there's no problem. All right, guys, full TP on this trade right here off the 721 algo move. So beautiful entry right there. You can see the algo is very spot on. It was exactly to target, right? Look how price is now pushing off this price. It literally went straight to that 70 mark. So for the trades for the day that we've identified here, obviously, so this was the 721 win for plus 2R. And then we have the one coming up at 7:51. All right, guys. So if you guys took that algo trade right there, I identified it. This was identified last night. So I already knew this was going to happen last night. And it played out perfect. There's 7:21. All right. Now that that's hit, let's shift things over to the 7:51. Man, I don't know. For some reason, like my office is really cold right now. Be right back, guys. Let me get a sweater. I don't know this. I went downstairs and I guess it's freezing downstairs. So I'm like, man, the shivers right now. And there's also the water. Yeah, that algo is so accurate. Look at that, guys. The algo pretty much hit and then it went right back up. All right. Got the entry coming up. Let's see. Question over here. Hindsight is asking Sean, are the green and red vertical lines automatic or do you add those? Those are automatic. So that's from the momentum indicator hindsight. That's where you know which direction to be trading. So yeah, that's going to be the momentum indicator right here. So if I take it off, you can see there's no bars there. This is going to indicate the direction of price. So like wherever momentum is going, that's where you're looking to take the trade. Let's see. Talanji said, tap my TP, only closed one contract. LOL. Fingers crossed it comes back down. Yeah, I know it's like so spot on. I think it'll probably push down a little bit more. That's why for me, I like when the entries are kind of stacked, right? When there's like other opportunities there. Let's see. Daniel said just signed it back up for the indicators. Nice, Daniel. Just in time for the algo, right? So again, if you guys want access to this algo, I mean, this algo is a money printer, guys. If you guys want to have this tool at your disposal and you want to be able to identify your entries the night before, um, just make sure that you have the indicators so that you guys can get access to it. Because I'll be giving access to this algo later today. So yeah, Daniel, we'll have that updated in a few. Let's see, Tron said, yeah, my bias was longs this morning. It took me too long to change my bias and no trades for me so far. Yeah, so that's the problem when you have a bias that's like it's so strong in one direction. That's why for me, I don't really have a bias at all. I'm kind of just following wherever price is going. Basically wherever momentum's pushing. Looks like we're gonna have a bullish momentum here. So this is the entry might be a buy for 752 or 751. We'll see. Yeah, man, I don't know what it is. My body's got like super cold right now. I don't know why. It's like I went downstairs and my body just got freezing. Fuck, I need to warm up somehow. It's okay. This trade's gonna warm me up. All right, so we're looking over here at the 751 entry, guys. It's probably gonna be a buy. I don't know exactly, but it's probably gonna be a buy. All right. All right, candle's closing in about 30 seconds. After I take this entry, guys, I'm gonna step away real quick. I'm gonna go grab something, but entry is gonna happen in about 20 seconds for a buy. We got trade coming in about 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Order submitted. Order.
Make sure everything here is set up properly.
Order filled.
All right, so let's see. Target is at 46,718. Stop is at 46,658. It's kind of tight. Stop's a little tight, but obviously I'm gonna let the trade run. Like I said before, if it stops me out, it stops me out. I'm doing a 1 to 2 risk reward, so just let the trade kind of do what it needs to do. All right, I'm gonna step away for 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Ah, damn. That thing stopped me out pretty quick. Okay, it's all good. So, like I mentioned earlier, guys, it was low risk. I've had a feeling the stop was like really tight, but it's okay. Um, so it looks like the 752 one is actually still running. No, that one's actually still pushing through. 752 would have been the better entry, it looks like. So the 751 unfortunately lost, and then the 752 right here. I mean, it was a better entry because we had this big red candle, and the 752 also would have been a buy, and that one actually would have hit. So it's all good. I took the loss on that trade right there. Um, yeah, the thing is, the 751 is just it had better stats. That's why for me personally, I was looking to take that one, but looks like I got in a little like a candle earlier. So I'm looking at my stats over here. Not too bad so far. I mean, I did take a loss today, of course, but it's not really affect. I'm still in profit for the week. So I'm red for the day, but I'm green for the week. I'll take a screenshot of my accounts over here. Yeah, not too bad. Was hoping I'd have every green day this week, but it's okay. It's unrealistic to for that to be the case. But yeah, if you guys use your risk properly, I mean, you guys should still be in profit for the week. We had more wins this week than losses. Plus, we're doing a 1 to 2. All right, let me put this trade there. So if you guys took the trade, unfortunately, this one over. So there's three trades that came up basically back to back. There's one over here at 721. This one hit full TP for 70 points. This smaller one over here hit stop loss at 751. Unfortunately, this trade ended up stopping out and then pushing right back up. And then over here, 752, this one actually hit. So looking at the trade setups for the day, basically, they're a little mixed. And it looks like our initial entry over here would have hit too if we didn't get stopped out on this like unusually large red candle that just kind of popped out of nowhere right there. Yeah, it's a 25 point candle, so annoying. It's all good though. Here, I want to check this real quick. No, not that one. I want to check this real quick. If it would have survived the 25 point drawdown. No, it still would have stopped out. Yeah, it still would have stopped out. So it's okay. I ate the loss on that trade right there. However, the one following it right here did hit target. So I'll put this right here real quick. Loss -1R. And then 7:52 a.m. win +2R. So I mean, if you took every single trade that came up, you technically would still be up 3R. But I only had one on my criteria. I don't usually take them if they stack up like this. It looks like we just got caught in a fake out as an unlucky spike to the downside right here because obviously it ended up pushing right back up. There's another entry that's possibly coming up later at 8:50. I don't know if I'll be taking that. It's kind of it's late in the session. And then also I don't like the RR as much. It's kind of far out. It's a 70, it's a 35 to 70. But it's all good. Just got caught in the chop here. Anyways, let me put this in the chat real quick so that you guys can see. I only took one trade, so looks like I'm just gonna eat that loss for the day. This is why typically I like to take two trades. If I have the opportunity, I like to take two trades for a day because you could lose one trade and then you make it right back on the next one. The only problem here is we didn't have very many setups kind of spread out, right? Like I couldn't take the 751 and the 752. It just wouldn't make sense because they're right next to each other. If we had one that was like at 7:30 and then one at 7:51, I would have taken both, but these are just too close. The next ones are going to be pretty far out. It's an hour later, and I'm probably not going to wait for this. It's too long for me. And we haven't had a loss in a while. Let me see. I got to find a stop thing here. There we go. There's only 20 points. So stop loss hit on momentum breakout entry for 20 points. And then, I mean, obviously it hit for the other ones here. Here, I'll just put all the stats here. So this is 7:21 a.m. This one was at 7:51 a.m. And then another one, which is at 7:52, the minute after. All right, then here are my losses. It's so weird posting losses because I haven't had a loss in a while now. So I'll show you guys my stats again for the month. I'll try to update my Trader Sync right now if I can. But yeah, here are my stats. So basically, I took a loss on that trade, but I'm still up pretty heavily in profit for the week. See if I could copy that. Yeah, so you can see over here, I'm still green for the week. That loss was very minimal. So I lost 300 on that trade. I'm still up 300 for the week, so not a big deal. Like I said, you'll never be 100% with these trades, right? You can never be like 100%. This trade had a 66.67% win ratio, so the odds weren't like super, super heavy in our favor, but it was still like decently, it was worth the risk in my opinion. So yeah, I took a little loss there. So you can see it down here. I took an 800 loss on my bigger accounts. This is my personal account. Just 800, but I'm still up 721 for the week. So you know what happens. This is why risk to reward, not really risk to reward, but your risk management is very important, right? Because if it's not good, then you probably be red for the week so far. But small red day, still green for the week. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit better and we'll have more opportunities. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just part of the game, right? It's part of the game sometimes. Anyways, let me see if I could. So this is a red day right here. It's our first red day in a long time. We had pretty much a win streak that went on for 7 or 8 days. And this right here was the day that that ended our streak. So I'll see if I can update my trader sync. I don't know if it's updating. Yeah, I gotta log in. And the auto sync function sucks with trader sync, guys. Don't use the auto sync function. I've been trying to use that auto sync function and it never works. But yeah, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. I was hoping there'd be another entry, but again, like I said, the next entry that I have on my list is at 850, and I'm probably not going to wait. That's just a little too far out for me to wait for another entry. I'm gonna try to keep it within this time period. Hopefully, like as momentum starts to shift a little bit, we'll have more entries around 6, more entries around 7, so I can take one pre-market like we did normally, and then one mid-market, which we did today. So other than that, I think that might be it for the day, guys. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. Again, if you guys want to sit in on we're going to have a session later today where I'm going to be explaining the algo. It's going to happen around 2 o'clock. If you guys have access to the indicators, you'll get access to this algo here. You guys can see, as long as you take like a decent amount of trades and you take proper risk per trade, you should be pretty good overall. Like for example, if you took every trade that we identified this morning, like this one at 721, it wasn't a great trade, but you can see it still played out for a full target of 70 points. Same with this one over here, depending on which one you decided to choose, whether it be 751 or 752, one would have lost and one would have won. But if you're doing a 1 to 2, it would have recouped the loss on that last trade. So I think that's it. Let me see if man Trader Seek is like really annoying sometimes. Um, because it keeps saying that my login credentials are expired, but I literally just logged in. Okay, I'm trying to log in again. I was just trying to add the trades over here for the ninth, but I don't know if they're gonna get on here. Either way, it's gonna be a small loss, guys. So like my loss for today is gonna probably be like 14 to 20,000, somewhere around there. It's probably gonna be around 14,000. Because for this trade over here that we took yesterday, we took one loss and one win. So that was basically it was a 1R positive. So this is gonna be a 1R negative. So my losses for today is probably gonna be negative 14, which is not bad. It's not bad. I'm still in profit pretty heavy for the month. I was up 90,000, so negative 14 is going to be, I don't know, like 70K for the week still, which is still pretty good. Yeah, exactly. Sam said, yeah, it happened, Sean, part of the game. It's winning strategy and results are on the screen. Yeah, 100%. I'm just hoping that we have more opportunities. It kind of sucks when there's just one opportunity. I like to have maybe two or three opportunities so that we could always bounce back, from a loss. But we just didn't have one today around this time. But all right, I think this might be it, guys. I don't. I'll post up the results on my for my Trader Sync a little later once this has been uploaded. They're currently updating right now in the background, but it's looking like it's going to take a while. So I think that's going to be it for the day, guys. Again, if you guys want to sit in on the mentoring session later for the algo, it's going to be at 2 p.m. Pacific time. If you guys want access to this algo, make sure that you have the indicators by today, right? If you're not in by today, it's a cutoff for the access to the algo because you're not going to be able to have access to it. So if you guys want access to this algo, you want to be able to take your own trades, you want to try it on different assets. Later today, I'll be going over different assets. So I'll be going over NQ, ES, GC, um, I don't know, whatever else you guys want me to cover, I'll probably be going over that stuff. And I'll be going over my step-by-step process, how do I put up this list here? Because this isn't made for you. You have to make this list yourself. But I'll show you guys how I go through the hours and pull up the trades one by one. It's a bit of a tedious process, but it's worth it, of course, because then you'll have all the high probability trades lined up for the next day. So. All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I'll be back here later today at about 2 p.m. Pacific time. So it's 8 o'clock right now, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. In about 6 hours, I'll be back. But all right, guys, I'll see you guys then. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, we will be back here in a few hours.